Tamara, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is going to be about anxiety or feeling overwhelmed. So there's two different ways I think about anxiety. One way is excessive worrying. You're worrying about everything, even things that probably won't happen, the tiniest things, and it's just a really overwhelming and terrible feeling. And then the second way that I think of anxiety is when you have way too much to do than your mind and that you can mentally and physically handle. That feels really bad because it's like an adrenaline rush that keeps going and going and going, and you can't slow it down. You want to get off the ride, but you can't, and it's a really terrible feeling. So keep in mind, we want to calm ourselves down a little bit, because the bad thing about anxiety is it sort of has a mind of its own. If it's left out of control, it can start manifesting itself physically. So you might experience a lack of sleep. You might start to feel physical aches and pains, and you don't know, why you're feeling this way. It's because that anxiety, those emotions, they're real, and they have to find a place to land. And a lot of times they will land physically and cause you even more problems. So today, what I'm hoping to do is to help you to calm down. It's not one of those things that you can just turn off like a switch. If you have really struggled with anxiety, then you know what I'm talking about. It's like you're trying with all your might, all your mental might, to shut that feeling off, and nothing you try works because you have to take action. So I'm going to give you a few things to help you take little action steps that are kind of fun and doable. So my first recommendation for you is, if you're feeling an enormous amount of anxiety, you might try hypnosis or hypnotherapy. It really takes the edge off. I've done hypnotherapy before, and what he did was he helped me through a problem that I was having, and then he hypnotized me to the word calm. And so I could call that word and start to really calm down in everyday situations, and it just took the edge off. It made me not have to work and fight so hard to calm myself down. So from that hypnosis, what I've started doing recently is I've started finding calming pictures, like of beach scenes, of the ocean, and I hang them in my room or hang them in my office at work, just to have a reference, someplace that, when I walk by, I can kind of go back to that calm and peaceful place. So here's an example of one of the pictures that I have that I wanted to share with you. And see, it's of the beach and the ocean and the clouds and the water and the waves. And sometimes when I feel overly anxious, then I can kind of go back to this place in my mind. So try getting some pictures that can help you to calm down. It really, really helps me out a lot. Another thing I want to suggest is listen to calming music. Now, I know I have a friend that says classical music makes her feel more anxious. So, you have to pick and choose something that will help you to calm down and relax. Remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to change your way of thinking. So we want to introduce something a little different. So I would suggest listening to relaxing music, like listening to the ocean, or the sound of rain, or the wind blowing in a breeze, or nature sounds like the birds chirping, that kind of thing. And you can do that for 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be for hours long. A couple places that you can go to do that. If you have XM or Sirius radio, there are channels on your radio that you can listen to that have very relaxing, calming music. Another thing I like to do is I downloaded the Pandora app. So it's an app, in case anybody doesn't know, and you can type in relaxation music, and it'll pop up a channel, and it has those ocean sounds. And sometimes when I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed and I know I need to just turn things off for a second, I might listen to some calming music for about 5 minutes, and it really, really helps me a lot. Another thing that I discovered, I actually discovered this a few years ago, was coloring. I noticed that coloring, like if I felt really anxious, and believe it or not, I can be a very intense, anxious person. When I started coloring, I I noticed that my energy shifted and just calmed down, and it helped me to focus and get rid of that awful feeling. Well, now you know that adult coloring books are really hot right now. So what I did was I got myself some colored pencils, and I've actually used this technique with people, and it's really helped them a lot. So I've given out a lot of coloring books and, you know, coloring pages. If you're feeling a little grumpy, I don't know if you recognize Grumpy Cat, but this is a fun coloring book that you can do if you're feeling a little mad. That can trigger your anxiety. And then here's another one. This is like a vintage coloring book, and it has like, I don't know, like little tea pages. And here's another one. These are really popular with the geometric shapes. Don't know if you can see it because of the light. And then here's another one. This one has different animals. So it's a really fun one as well. So I have about 10 of these. I don't know. I like getting them, and it really helps me. And I've seen it help a lot of other people. So I would highly suggest that you do that. Another thing you can do is change your patterns so that your body learns not to go into that anxiety mode because you're doing the same exact things over and over and over. Change up something small. Another thing that I want to suggest is clean up. I think we can all do that. Not just, you know, I'm sure that everybody does some cleaning every day. I'm talking about pick a day in the month, like a Saturday or something like that, and just declutter. Like, get some bins, start organizing your things, because sometimes when you have a lot of things that are out of order, it can make you feel very out of control and like, okay, I just can't get it together. But if you take a few, you know, take a day, I mean, not just a day, but like one day during the week or one day a month where you just spend a couple of hours just putting some organization to your home, or even at work, taking some time to just organize. That can lift off a lot of anxiety because it gives you more control. Also, another thing you can do is get up and move around. You don't have to, you know, gyms are great, but sometimes it's also an excuse not to do any, you know, exercise, but just move around 5 or 10 minutes. Just walk around your house, walk in circles. You don't have to have any fancy equipment, because you're trying to change the chemistry in your brain so that, you know, your serotonin starts to rise a little bit, and you're putting that energy somewhere. Remember, all of this is really about energy. That's what anxiety is. It's like this invisible energy that's floating around, but it attaches itself somewhere. And so that's all we're trying to do, is kind of figure out ways to move it out of our way. And then another idea would be to take a tech break. Do something a little different than you normally do. And then finally, something that I've discovered recently is, well, I've known God all my life, but what I've discovered recently that's really actually working for me is pray and ask God for the spirit of peace. And I know, you know, I'm one of those kind of people that once I'm in anxiety mode, it's really hard for me to turn that off. So I really didn't think that it would work. The thought just kind of came from out of nowhere. And I don't know, I was so anxious one day that I thought, let me try this and see if this will work for me. And it really did. It made a huge difference for me. So try that, you know, ask God for the spirit of peace when you're feeling really anxious. And it really helped me to focus in a way that I normally wouldn't. Some of the things that I was having to do that day, it would have really destroyed my day. I was dealing with a lot of really tough issues, but I was able to tackle each one calmly, and I just like, wow, this is crazy, but it's working. So anyway, I hope my video helps you in some way But just remember, if you're feeling anxious, just know you're not alone. We all experience it from time to time, and just take action, change up a few things, and I know that you're gonna feel a lot more peaceful really, really soon. So if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.